Hey there, welcome back to the Craft Your Comeback Show. I'm AJ MacQuarrie. So, today I want to talk about a bad review that I once got. This is something that I talk about in the Craft Your Comeback book coming out October 25th, 2022. And I think it's really a good example of how we can flip what may appear as a setback upside down. So, theater has always been my passion ever since I can remember. So, it would make sense when I tell you that one of my first businesses was a theater production company that I started at the age of 17 with a good buddy of mine in the town that I grew up in. We got local friends and talent together to get this going. And the owner of the theater in the town, he believed in us so much, so he let us rent out the space and we got to put on our own productions. We actually sort of broke away from the community theater that we were part of for a little bit to do this. And it was so fun. We had such a supportive crowd, like attend our shows every night. We pretty much always broke even at the very least, so no harm, no foul. And like from a business standpoint, theater is not a lucrative endeavor, as you probably would have guessed. So it was just more of a passion of mine, but I was serious about becoming a theater professional. So I wanted to step it up and start putting on productions in the city in Boston, Massachusetts. We decided to do Closer by Patrick Marber, which at the time was a very popular movie and a very trendy and edgy play. You actually may have seen the movie. It was pretty much the exact script as the play. And I thought, this is gonna be a freaking hit. The first of many shows to come that I would produce at the Boston Center for the Arts. It's in the historic South End. So we worked super hard. We got the word out there. We emailed tons of people in the press, just hoping somebody would show up because a good review, after all, can extend an entire production. And that was my goal, be sold out so many nights that we had to come back the next weekend and the next weekend by popular demand. I thought it was entirely possible. So when we got word that someone from the Boston Herald would be there, I was psyched. This was going to be it. This was going to be my big break. The critic came to our Saturday night show, which was almost a full house. And with much anticipation, the next morning I woke up and lo and behold, it was printed in the Boston Herald. And she did not hold back. Let me tell you, here are some of the things that she said in the review. The independent theater company's Closer isn't fit for anyone but the cast and production team's friends and family. If you're a paying customer, you'll feel like you shelled out $25 to sit through Acting 101 at a community college. Wow. And she goes on to say, the production is further hobbled by the fact that Mike Nichols recently adapted Patrick Marber's play into a well-received film starring the very talented and possibly attractive Julia Roberts, Natalie Portman, Clive Owen, and Jude Law. It's hard for audiences to go back to square one, or in this case, square -2. Ouch. I'm going to read one more. As for Dan, he needs to be so irresistible that two women whom he badly misuses can't keep their hands off of him. Instead, MacQuarrie offers ineffectual mumbling and a vague, looming presence. That was that really hurt me. I thought I was the best actor. Anyway, the link to the article is below if you want to read the brutality in its entirety. Now, at the time when I first read this review, I was devastated. This was a huge setback. I felt like a failure. I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. So stumbling upon it recently it was very interesting because I saw this in a completely new light with the Craft Your Comeback framework that I talk about and I live my life by now. It helped me reframe my whole mindset when it comes to disappointing moments like that. So much so that I'm actually freaking proud of that review. I mean, come on, I was 21 years old and a play that I produced and acted in was written up in one of Boston's most prominent newspapers. That's an accomplishment. How many 21-year-olds can say that, right? I'm embracing it as just being part of my story and just being an experience of mine. And I'm grateful for that experience. I think many of us just naturally tend to be very reactive towards everything, right? And that does not serve us well when it comes to crafting our comeback. So the growth that I've seen personally when it comes to handling my setbacks is incredible. But it took a lot of work on my end to get to this point, and a lot of growth and a lot of experiencing the three F's, the failures, flukes, and F ups. So much so that I'm almost immune to whatever comes my way. Like, bring it on. And that's why I feel so compelled to get all of this content out there, for example, to write my book, to do these videos, to talk to y'all, because I know that we all go through some really tough times now more than ever, right? It's a crazy world, it's a chaotic world out there. But when you start to practice the CYC framework, you regularly start to look at setbacks through a different lens. You start to rewire how you view your failures, how you view your flukes, how you view your F ups. And it becomes second nature to view things through this lens and to see things in this new perspective. Look, it really bugged me then when I got this review, but you know, now it doesn't. I am so proud of it. I even put it on my website recently as a publication I've been featured in because I've been featured in the Boston Herald. I wear that with pride. So I have to ask you, what's your bad review? Maybe it wasn't a theater production that you put on, but what was your bad review? What have you been so harshly criticized over that it felt like a dagger in the heart? And how can you now look at that differently? Maybe your bad review is something you personally haven't visited in a while either. So maybe it's time to dig it up, to look at it from this new perspective. I want to thank you so much. I hope you're all staying well and healthy. And remember, wherever you're at, you got to just keep going. I'm AJ MacQuarrie. I'll see you next time.